We're back with Rock Island Mayor Mike Tomes. An issue that hasn't received too much attention relates to the hydro plant operated by the city. The Quad City Times did some extensive reporting on this. Rock Island leases it from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources to generate power for a wastewater treatment plant, a water treatment plant, and a water pump station. Not functional at the moment, from what I understand. The Times reports it'll cost more than $180,000 to get it working again. More money in repairs could still be needed after that. And the city owes more than $1 million for the equipment it bought for that facility. What concerns you most about that plant?
You know, my concerns is what's becoming a norm is the high water and floods. And to make this thing operational and produce enough electricity is you need the fall down it. It's not a cross, but it's the fall. And we just haven't had that. Last year, as we all know, the floods and everything else, there just wasn't theirs to generate enough
So you need a certain amount of water level to get in there to
That's correct. You need
that
low water, and you need that to drop down. It's not to go in really, but it's drop down and turn the turbines. And so, and that's becoming, I'll say unfortunately, a norm of these high waters and everything else. So it's not producing what it was originally anticipated to do. And so that's a concern. And there's maintenance even when it's not running. There's some maintenance that needs to be done.
Is it worth keeping? And what other options does the city have to generate this power?
It appears at this point it's not worth keeping. We have 4 generators. 2 are quite old. In the early 1900s, they still have wood bearings in them.
And that's at this plant specifically?
This plant specifically. And those are now needing some more major repairs, and it's hard to find parts for those. So we may have to replace those, not sure. And the other 2 need some maintenance. So it looks like it's going to be, at this point, a cost-prohibitive type of thing. You're just not going to see the revenue back for a long time.
What other options does the city have to replace that power? You need to generate that kind of power for something, for those plants, those treatment plants and stuff.
That's correct. We would just use Mid-America Energy for it instead, which we've been doing for the last 12 months or so, using 100% of Mid-America Energy. So this is just to supplement that and try to reduce the bill and be green. Be sustainable, which is a good thought, and we want to do that. The city is working very hard at doing more of that, but this doesn't seem to be able to.
Is there a penalty for breaking the lease that you have with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources?
No, at this point. And it's the dollar amount to the DNR is not real large, and they would like to see it in the lease. It has to stay as a generating hydro plant. So no, it's not too bad.
I mentioned the financial strain related to this. Does the city, if you did go the route of repairs, what options would the city have to generate that revenue? Because I know the budget's been pretty tight for Rock Island.
It has. We would, we either have to pull it out of reserves or do a bond again, but we'd probably at this point pull it out of reserves. Parts of it were budgeted for, but not all of it. So we'd have to pull it out of reserves.
What kind of timetable are you looking on a decision for the long-term future of the plant?
You know, I think with this thing too, that we would probably make a decision within the next 30 days or so whether to keep it or mothball it, so to speak, and try to liquidate the equipment in there and give it back to the DNR within the next 30 days.
So you might be able to recoup some finances for the equipment that you've invested in.
Yes, believe it or not, we've already got 2 people that are interested in not only equipment but potentially operating the dam.
The plant on itself.
The plant in itself. But the city of Rock Island is looking at a lot of other factors as far as sustainability and being green. We're looking at some LED stuff. We're looking at solar panels, et cetera.
What type of timetable is for investing in those sorts of things?
It'll be this year. We will start this year. We hope to vote on how extensive we're going to do that within the next 60 days, and then put that in place and start doing some boiler replacements and different equipment this year yet and into 2021. We look at some substantial savings by upgrading some equipment and potentially adding solar. Got to check that out to finalize those numbers, but and some other equipment.
All right. Rock Island Mayor Mike Tomes, thanks so much for the conversation. Good luck with everything you're working on in the city.